Alabama 1st and 10 on the 12. Again, Houston. He's got a hole. He's over. Alabama touchdown.
I'm just wondering if your listeners know how good a football player you were. I can still see you playing that fullback, knocking those players out of the way. And I believe I could have run behind you.
Martin, I can remember when we came to summer and you were playing fullback up there, and I saw you in the weight room and watched you work out in the weight room. If you were strong enough to pick up the whole weight room. I wanted to recruit you, and our running back coach didn't take the test. biggest mistake we ever made.
The Martin Houston Show with national championship winning fullback Martin Houston, giving you 1 hour of intense, hard-hitting analysis from an insider's perspective. It's time for the Martin Houston Show on your home for Alabama sports, Tide 100.9, and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Good morning. Welcome into the Martin Houston Show with Martin and Xavier on a free-for-all Friday, Flashback Friday. We're happy to have you up and at 'em with us on this beautiful morning. I want to invite you to get in on the conversation at 205-342-9904, 205-342-9904. That's the Alabama One hotline, or you can join the live stream, comment there. On comment, react, ask your questions, make your responses in the live stream at Alabama Sports and the Martin Houston Show on Facebook. We appreciate you being a part there. Remember that this is a day that the Lord has made, so let's rejoice and be glad in it. Take some time today to notice someone, love someone, serve someone, be the difference you want to see in the world today. Good morning, X. How you doing, sir?
Good morning, doing well. How are you?
Doing well. Can't complain. Nobody cares if you do. So we're going to move right along as if it doesn't matter, right? So tell me, we got a free-for-all Flashback Friday. Of course, this week we've had everything from Alabama baseball making it to the tournament amongst 11 SEC schools, to Mark Sears' return, to the top duo, will Jalen Milroe and Germie Bernard be the top duo? And that really started from me having a question in the back of my mind: how many touchdowns will this duo have? And then, of course, we had spring meetings, and Destin and Coach DeBoer and others really got on this 85-man roster. And then of course, yesterday, Alabama taking on UCLA. And Justin, did you get to watch the game?
I did. I was actually watching it at the gym. So I was getting my cardio in, and I had my phone streaming the softball game. Unfortunately, I watched that.
Let me ask you something. Did the same concerns show up yesterday? Did we have any base running errors, guys getting thrown out at first, second, third, maybe home? Did we make any poor errors that gave up a run? Did we hit the ball? Did we score enough run? I'm just asking. I did not get to watch the whole game, so
yeah, we there actually was several base running issues early in the game. There was a thrown out at second, which, if you watched it on TV, it was actually a safe. It was not ruled safe, but they called her out at second. It was Marley Giles, I believe. It was really just a 3-run home run that UCLA hit that put them into the lead and gave them the win. It was tied 1-1. I think in the first 4 innings we had a hit, at least one hit in all of those 4 innings, but base running was very slow, and ultimately we just couldn't get into scoring position enough times.
And neither could they, except for they have what? Why do you think? Why did we get to that? Just thinking out loud. Why did we get to the person that hit the home run? First base was open, so we walked that person because we were afraid they would hit a home run. Then the next person, we were fearful they could hit a home run. Only to pitch to the third one. Their first, second, third, fourth, and fifth batters were all the first. Did you hear that their first? This is going to blow your mind. Their leadoff batter has only whiffed, including yesterday, has only swung and missed the ball 22 times all year. Let that sink in for a second. Then, then after you get that person who gets on base like crazy percentage, then you have a home run hitter, home run hitter, home run hitter, home run hitter. And that's what Beavers managed to navigate for, 5.5 innings, 5 2/3 innings. But in that pressure situation, they knew what she liked to do. She brought it inside, and wow, that girl, she kept those hands tight, and she turned on that ball. And when it hit the bat, I said, home run. That's what we don't have. We don't have anybody. I cannot remember the young lady's name a few years ago. You did not want to see her coming to the plate for Alabama in a must-hit home run ends the game type of situation.
Do you mean Bailey Hemphill, maybe?
Yeah, that's it. Bailey Hemphill. They had 4 of those in a row that Beaver had to try to maneuver. Great. Huh?
Was one of them the football goat's niece?
Yes.
I don't know.
Unfortunately, yes.
Who was it?
Brady.
Oh.
Maya Brady.
You said football goat. I was trying. You
Tom Brady's niece is on UCLA's team.
Wait, you said the football goat, and I was just thinking of somebody. I'm just kidding. Don't get me started. Hey, Justin, in case you haven't heard yet, I can't stand Tom Brady. So,
Martin, I'm a Seahawks fan. You don't have to tell me about Tom Brady. I don't like him very much either.
But I always tell people I understand and I know why I don't like Tom Brady. If I'm being honest, Justin, the guy played the sport I love till he was 150 years old. He was married to a supermodel. And he's one of the richest players ever, and she made more money than he did, and he has more Super Bowls than anybody, and he leaves his
Super Bowl. Yes,
well, but he still got him. Yeah,
he still got him.
Yeah. Like I said, I recognize why I don't like Tom Brady. I'm honest. I don't lie. It's probably some envy. So, but anyway, oh man. Hey, but X, what you got, man? Like I said, I hate they played such a good game, the Alabama style game. But my concern, like I said, my concern with softball is, can you win out there without those big bats anymore? I mean, every team, I think just about every team, I don't know about Duke. I don't know enough about them. But kudos to Duke getting there. Just a historical moment. First African-American, Black woman, female Black coach to take their team to that level, to ever get there. So kudos to her, and that's who Alabama. I didn't watch it. I made the assumption that Oklahoma would win. Did they win?
They won 9-2, I think.
Okay,
yes.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, that's what I figured. So I just made that assumption. I shouldn't have, but that's who Alabama will play. And she got that team there in 7 years. They've only been a big time program. I think they said yesterday 7 years. So kudos to them, and hopefully they go home and Alabama keeps going. But we'll see on tonight. So All right. X, anything from this past week jumps out at you that you want to hit? We're gonna talk about the duo and wrap up that conversation from like Wednesday, I think it was.
Nothing that we've talked about, but something that came out yesterday. Jalen Waddle just signed a massive contract, 3 years, I think it was $84.75 million. And somebody showed yesterday from the 2018 or 19 season. I can't remember we were playing Texas A&M at College Station, and it said there was over $500 million of NFL contracts on that field. And Tua hasn't signed a new contract
yet. A lot of money.
I thought that was a crazy statistic when I saw that.
Yeah, I mean, well, you have to think just Jalen. Was Jalen on that team?
Jalen was. That's what I'm saying. I don't know what year it was, and if it was 2018, it's definitely more money than that.
Yeah, I was going to say when Jalen and Tua signed, because Tua signed for what Jalen signed for, that's going to be a half there between those two.
Yeah,
right at it, right?
Roughly, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Jalen's and Tua's will probably be higher than Jalen since his is later, and they're going to try to lock him in. So it's going to be just those two themselves will be close to half, and then you throw in based on when it happened, was Dickerson here or not? And
yeah,
it's just all
Dickerson was here.
Yeah. And then you have the wide receivers. and then you throw the wide receivers.
It had to be 2019. It had to be 2019 because John Mechie was in the picture, and that was his freshman year.
Yeah. So it's a lot of money. All right. Hey, come back on the other side. You talking about the quarterback and the duos and the wide receivers. Let's wrap up that conversation. X, Justin, have your guy ready. Will they be top? Will they be one of the top duos when it's all said and done? Infamous B Gaming asking a question. My thoughts on Oklahoma. Will they be able? Will they be able to four-peat? And they're coming to the SEC. Oh boy, will they be able to four-peat? We'll give a quick yes or no on that, and we'll wrap it up right here. On your home for Alabama Sports coming up in the second quarter.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
Tuscaloosa traffic now from the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center. We're rolling out for this Friday morning, free and clear of any big problems on the board. That includes the trip on 2059 from Foster's to Cottondale. If you're traveling along McFarland Boulevard from Coker through to the Northport area, continuing down to U of A, you're in good shape with no big accidents or breakdowns along the way. Mostly quiet start all around this morning. With your Tuscaloosa traffic now, I'm Ray Romero.
Townsend Nissan. How do you stay number one in West Alabama? You do whatever it takes to make you happy. Townsend Nissan. Number one for a reason on Skyland Boulevard.
This report is sponsored by Stand Up to Cancer.
Joe Buck and John Smoltz welcoming you back to the City Center Convenience Mart. Uh-oh. She's looking at the cigarettes, but she just grabs the gum off the counter. Stand Up to Cancer and Rally want you to reduce your risk for cancer. Go to takeahealthystand.org.
Hey, John. Senior year is almost over. I don't have the funds to go to college. I really want to learn a skill like being an electrician, a plumber of heating and air technician. College just isn't for me.
I hear you, Mike. You should think about Skilled Trades of West Alabama. They have a 4-week Jumpstart program starting in June and another program in July. The classes are free for class of 2024 high school grads like us.
Wait, how do we sign up?
It's easy. Go to skilltradesofwestalabama.com. We can sign up online, and in 4 weeks, we can learn the skills we need to work as a plumber, an electrician, or in HVAC.
What's the website again? SkilledTradesofWestAlabama.com? I'm going to do it now. This seems like a great pathway to a career without all those tuition bills.
If you're an up-and-coming 2024 or recent high school graduate looking for a career in plumbing, heating, and air, or in other trades in the construction field, go to skilltradesofwestalabama.com and find out more information about the 4-week Jumpstart program and take your first steps towards a rewarding career.
Rev up your life with a 2024 Kia Forte GT line from Julio Jones Kia. 0 down, sign and drive, it's that easy. For just $299 a month, you can own this sleek beauty. 36-month lease, 10,000 miles per year. Explore Tuscaloosa in style. Apple CarPlay, Android Audio, and more, all yours. Lease offer subject to credit approval. Taxes not included. Stock number K8796. VIN number 3KPF5480X RE771137. Julio Jones Kia at 4301 Greensboro Avenue, Tuscaloosa, or 24/7 at buyfromjulio.com.
Tide 100.9 Tuscaloosa weather.
A big warm up today. The sky partly to mostly sunny, the high 89. Clouds move in tonight, the chance of a few showers, the low 69. Tomorrow, occasionally cloudy. A few showers and thunderstorms are likely during the day, the high at 83. I'm James Spann on the ABC 3340 Weather Center on Tide 100.9. It's 68 degrees in Tuscaloosa.
It's time for the Martin Houston Show. With the same hard-hitting, no-nonsense approach in which he played the game, Martin will take you inside the locker room, down on the field, and across the goal line with his in-depth analysis.
Welcome back into the Martin Houston Show with Martin and Xavier on Tide 100.9. Don't forget to check out Billy's Cooking Restaurant, Billy's Cooking Restaurant, Billy's Cooking LLC. You can order via DoorDash or you can call them at 205-632-8617, 205-632-8617. They will be there to serve you. I'm going to be closed today, but they will be open on tomorrow. And then, of course, is Soul Food Sunday, as well as Billy's Cooking LLC, located directly across from the old Holt High School. All right, X. You know, it's a free-for-all Flashback Friday, and we have so many topics to talk about. Really quick, does Oklahoma make it a 4-peat? And if not, is it going to be Texas that stops the machine?
I mean, I don't know enough about Texas to say that they can.
They're
do
the number
it.
one seed.
Yeah, but Oklahoma's Oklahoma. You know what I mean? I think they're going to give I think either way, the Big 12 is going to have one last championship in softball before joining the SEC. So that's where I stand with it.
How do you think the Big 12 feels about losing? If they hated losing Texas and Oklahoma when it was announced, how are they feeling right now? Because, you know, football makes a rebound. Softball continues the dominance. And I'm predicting it's probably going to be Texas and Oklahoma. So either way, if you're an SEC coach, you're sitting there going, thanks, Sankey. Right? I mean,
right.
It would be, to me, it would be like being in the Big Ten and watching Alabama and Georgia a couple years ago playing the national title game and go, well, boys, it's been fun.
Right.
Anyway, Alan, you're on with Martin and Xavier on the Alabama One hotline. Before you tell me about what's on your mind, man, Bama fans, Martin's Maniacs, Bama Nation, Alan sent me a text, and hopefully you're doing okay, but more importantly, hopefully your friend is okay. Alan, is it okay if I share Alan?
That's fine. Yeah, that's fine.
Alan has a friend who suffered a stroke yesterday while out driving, and Alan happened to be on the phone with him. So when it happened, which may be maybe what saved his life. I don't know all the details, but just want us to, as a fam and a group of listeners, viewers, and chatters to lift him up in prayer and remember him, his family, as well as those associated with him. So let's all make sure we do that. And I've said a prayer for him this morning, Alan. Thanks for sharing and allowing us to be a part of that.
I appreciate that, Martin. He was driving across the I was talking to him, and he happened to, when I was talking to him, he was going across the Delaware Bridge in Delaware. He got safely pulled over, and we had had my dispatch we actually could see him getting taken in the ambulance to the hospital. So, and we just found out that it's just a minor stroke, and he'll be back. But it's going to be a long road, but he will be back. But awesome. I appreciate everything y'all did. And oh, by the way, we went by Billy's. Hey, it's the bomb. It's the bomb. It's the bomb.
That's awesome.
I just want y'all's opinion of with Mark Sears coming back, and we seem to have a rim protector this year. What's the chance that you think we'll get back to the Final Four? Because it'll take a lot. You know, it takes a lot. It's going to take a lot. It takes, you know, one slip up in the tournament and you're gone. And just my opinion, I think we have a couple of years ago, we had a real good team. I think the team we got coming around now is better that you don't have a Brandon Miller on there because everybody got to come together instead of just watching one player do his thing. I'm just curious what y'all opinion is.
X, I'll let you go first.
I think this might be the most complete team Alabama's had in a while. Maybe not the singular superstar power, but just the overall ability to make things happen is something that I think this team will excel in.
Yeah, and you know, I think we kind of forget now that we're past it. Alan, when you look at that team, they had to deal with that off-season stuff. I mean, off the court stuff, and I think that took a toll on the team. I think that it didn't allow Brandon to keep progressing, and I don't think the team continued to progress as much as they would have. Their attention was diverted, and the growth didn't happen, in my opinion. That team wasn't playing better, per se, at the end of the year than they were at the middle of the year. And that team didn't get the same testing. I think Nate Oates figured out a formula last year that if you go out and play the teams that you think are going to be there, when you get there, not only it's not just if people go, but the SEC has those types of players. But you know what? When you play the SEC, you play them week in and week out, right? And you get a lot of film on them. On these other schools, like every time I watch Georgia play, if I have Georgia and I get film on Georgia, I also get to see Florida. I get to see Auburn. And so I'm learning those teams. When you get to the tournament, you may not have any commonality with that team that's playing the team you're watching film on. So you have to be able to game plan game to game. And I think that not only the players learning to play at that level, I think the coaches learning to game plan that way on having to study and things. I think that all goes into it, Alan. And I think he's doing the same thing again. But listen to this, Alan. This is what nobody's talking about Nate Oates' team. Same way last year. All right. We have Naj Cunningham, LeBaron Fallon, Aiden Sherrill, Darian Reed, freshman, right? And then you have Diabate, Holloway, Stevenson, sophomores. Now, what would you say about those guys? They're all like superstar freshmen and sophomores, right? Projected to be.
Right.
Then he has Houston Mallett, senior. Then he has Cliff Omari, fifth-year senior. Youngblood, fifth-year senior. Wright Sale Jr., fifth-year senior. Grant Nelson, fifth-year senior. Mark Sears, fifth-year senior. Yes, I think the chances of this team making it to the Final Four is high. And for the first time, I'm going to post this on my page. For the first time ever, you're not driving, are you, Alan?
No. I'm in
Okay.
Pigeon
All right.
Forge.
I don't want you running off the road or anything. For the first time ever, according, and I cannot remember where I got this from. It's one of those betting lines, and I didn't write that down. But Alabama basketball has a greater odd of winning the national championship than Alabama football in Vegas at least one of the books. So that tell you what they're thinking.
Yeah. Well, I have one more question for you. I have one more question before I hang up. How is in Texas? How are they keeping Manning happy with sitting on the bench another year?
That's what they wanted.
You talking about his? Explain that, X. I know I'll let you explain what you meant by that, but yes, that's part of it.
That's what his family wanted. They wanted him to go somewhere where he could sit and not have to be the guy immediately. And Texas is one of the perfect places for it. I mean, now the issue is what happens. Everybody forgets Quinn Ewers is only a redshirt junior. He's not a senior. He can be back next year.
Exactly.
That's where it gets tricky.
That's my point right there, Dick.
But I don't know that I don't know that they keep Ewers probably leaves just because of that reason. I mean, I've heard some people say that Manning's better than him now. Manning was raised right. Okay. You remember what Alabama had here a couple years ago? With Tua and Jalen.
Tua.
Right. A lot of people thought Tua was better than Jalen, right? But Tua was raised correctly, right? So Tua sat behind Jalen. The next year, Jalen gets benched. And Jalen did what? Had the right attitude.
Game.
Huh?
Because the championship game was won it, but yeah, he had
both of them. But that's how they were raised. Okay.
Right.
And some people say, well, he wouldn't have done that. They wouldn't have done that in today's game. Well, Jalen could have left the year he sat. Jalen could have transferred. So, but here's the point behind it. Why are most of these guys jumping ship? Why do they leave the schools are leaving or go to the pros a year early and all that? Why do they do that?
Money. And he don't have to worry about money.
And that's your answer. That's the other answer that makes this a lot easier. His name, image, and likeness. They said that he made more last year as the backup than the starting quarterback for the 49ers in the Super Bowl.
Oh, wow. That's interesting.
And he's on the bench. How many years do you think Manning has to have a good season to still be a top draft pick?
Oh, one.
Half the season. There we go.
If he does bad half the season and come back the other half and matures, as they would say he does, that's all he needs. He'll still go in the top 5. It's not the number 1 quarterback because of the name, the pedigree.
That's it. He doesn't need the money. They came in with the mindset that he would sit a couple of years to learn and grow. And that's why they chose. I believe that's why they chose Texas over Alabama, because they felt like Sark would be there longer than Alabama's OC would be here.
And that's positive. That was true.
Yep. So that's it. Good question, Alan. Great question on both sides.
Y'all have a good day. All right.
Coming back on the other side, we'll get the duo question. We'll also, X, if you have any other comments on the Manning or Sears conversation, which is going to run for a little while. What do you guys think about Alabama? I don't care if it's just one book out in Vegas. Alabama basketball plus 1,200 to win a national championship. And Alabama football plus 1,400. We'll talk about that and other things on this free-for-all Flashback Friday.
Hey, Frank, looks like business is booming. What are all those tabs you have open on your computer?
Oh, hey. Well, this one is for my SEO company. This one is for my website company. This one is for my CRM. This is for invoicing and estimates. This one does email. And this one does billing.
Geez, that sounds tricky to manage.
It's clunky, but I need all this to run my business. Wait, you run your own business, and you're even busier than I am. Don't you have all this stuff, too?
I do, but I get it all on one screen with the Town Square Business Management Platform.
What's that?
The Town Square Business Management Platform is an all-in-one tool that helps me grow and run my business. It combines website, billing, and scheduling into one program.
That sounds simpler than juggling all the tools I have now, but you still need someone else to help you find new business, right?
Nope. They have powerful digital advertising built into the platform as well, which helps me keep my calendar full. You can get a demo of the product for free. Check out their website. See if it makes sense for your business.
Go to townsquarelocal.com for a free demo of the Town Square Business Management Platform. Visit townsquarelocal.com. That's townsquarelocal.com.
Hey, John, why so glum?
I just got let go. The company's downsizing. This is the third time in the last 2 years. I'm done with this.
Have you thought about My Computer Career? I've heard they can train you for a career in IT in just a few months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI. And you don't need prior training or experience. Now that's a recession-resistant career.
Wow, thanks. I'll check them out.
Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation. mycomputercareer.edu. Financial aid is available for qualified students, including the GI Bill.
Do you owe the IRS $10,000 or more in back taxes? Are you being audited or investigated? Has the IRS sent you a letter demanding payment? You may not owe what they claim. Make this free call to the tax doctor now. Let them negotiate with the IRS on your behalf. Call 800-215-2418, 800-215-2418, 800-215-2418.
This report is sponsored by the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation.
The sound of Bama sports. Your show, your team. The Martin Houston Show on your home for Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Welcome back into the Martin Houston Show with Martin and Xavier on Tide 100.9, 1230 a.m. WTBC. Hey, don't forget about the great folks. Today is the last day for you to get signed up unless it's extended, and that is the Project Reach program at University of West Alabama. Earn $50,000 living wage stipend while earning your master's degree and serving as a teacher resident in the Project Reach program. Looking for dedicated professionals with a bachelor's degree in something other than education and earned a 3.0 GPA or higher. If you've never been certified as a teacher, now's your chance to join this great program. If you live in Tuscaloosa, Demopolis, or surrounding areas, you're the perfect candidate. Specialize in special education or early childhood, or teach subjects like biology, English, and math. Inspire students and create a brighter future. The deadline to apply ends today. Apply at UWA School of Graduate Studies. Go to their website and select the latest admission date for summer one semester, and they'll handle the rest. To find out more about the program, you can email projectreach at uwa.edu. That's projectreach at uwa.edu. And don't forget, man, you can earn $50,000 living wage stipend while you earn your master's degree and serve as a teacher resident in Project Reach. Apply today. All right, X, before we get back into that conversation, I see Chuck's on here, and Chuck wants to talk about softball. Chuck, you're in. Give you a quick second to hit some softball. What you got for us, man?
Yes, good morning. I'm just be quick. You were just talking about it. I want to commend you, Brother Houston, for recognizing that. I know your schools will be facing them. Duke, about Marissa Young, you are making history, getting into the Women's College World Series, and that's great. And hopefully that opens doors for some of these others. I know a softball coach at Grambling, Nakia Hall, did a great job. She's a coach over at Alabama A&M and over in Huntsville, Alabama. But across town from her, from Marissa Young in Durham, North Carolina, there's a lady named Catherine Tarvin at North Carolina Central University, which is a HBCU. She won the MEAC championship, Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference championship last year. She's done a great job with the softball team. And there's some others out there. There's a black male coach there at Jackson State University in Jackson, Mississippi, named Kevin Montgomery. They won the Southwestern Athletic Conference championship this year, beating Florida A&M. Florida A&M has a great coach as well named Camise Patterson. And I'm just bringing these names up because it's showing that, hey, look, yeah, give us an opportunity. That's what it's about, giving people an opportunity. And it would come on the time of what's happening now, the Negro Leagues records being included into Major League Baseball record books. And you're just seeing a lot of these things, like I said, just you're not asking for a handout. You just say, hey, just give me an opportunity. That's what it's all about.
Absolutely.
And go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
Oh, yeah. There's a lady, something to talk about Oklahoma City. There's a lady, a friend of mine. She's from over in Shreveport, 100 miles west of me, named Shirley Simmons Snell. She's in the National Softball Hall of Fame. She does slow pitching. She's still playing today. She's in her 60s. She's still traveling and playing softball. I want to point that out as well.
Yeah. Hey, listen, when I was growing up, man, that was they didn't have fast pitch. But my mom played softball for quite a while. She wasn't that old, but she played, and that was a weekend thing. The men and women, we had men and women teams in our communities, and we would travel to other communities and play softball. You start at 9 o'clock on Saturday, and you play. A lot of times didn't have the facilities where you had lights, so you played till dark. And if your food around had one that had lights, you might play till midnight. But it was a lot of fun. I remember those days, and I was 12, 13, 14 years old, and I was playing with the adults, Chuck. So you just made me go back into an old memory I have not had in a long, long time. So, but yeah, thanks for highlighting those coaches, Chuck. And like I said, it's something to be recognized. But hopefully it doesn't become a memorial. Hopefully we get to a point where that first black thing is not an only black thing or a big deal. But until we get there, I'll do my part to highlight where we can. And for a lot of people, it's a non-issue, but for some people, it's still an issue. And so we'll do our part to highlight and bring it out and recognize it. But I would recognize, if I knew of another coach that was making it for the first time, I would highlight that too. But I thought this was just great because she's built. We talk about what Murph did in building Alabama softball, from playing on a high school field, public park field, to what it is today. And this young lady has taken a program that's only 7 years old to OKC in a time, Chuck, when softball is at one of its highest points, and that's why I recognize it. Thanks, man. Appreciate you, sir.
All right, you all have a great weekend.
All right, X, got another caller, so let's get to J-Rob. J-Rob, I think you had softball and Jalen Milroe on your mind. What's up, man?
Happy Friday, Roll Tide, guys. I'll be quick.
You're fine. Go ahead.
Okay, softball, all those things that me and you talked about yesterday, the base running, the errors, the hitting, the good pitching, all those things come to pass yesterday, Martin. So you were spot on yesterday, and just want to recognize you for that because I was right on board with you. But I want to make a statement about Jalen this year, what's going to happen this year, because we're talking about, the duos. We won't even recognize Jalen Milroe from last year. He will be a much, much better quarterback. He'll be better coached. He will be throwing the ball to different styles of receivers across the middle everywhere. He's just going to be an overall rounded quarterback. He'll be a lot better than he was last year, and he will be in the running for the Heisman. So that's all I got to say. Y'all have a great weekend. Roll Tide.
Hey, J-Rob, keep listening because I have like 3 reasons why I think they may end up being one of the top duos. Okay, so stay tuned. I'm gonna give that in just a moment. X, thanks. That's J-Rob, regular caller here, part of the program. X, what's your thoughts on Jalen Milroe? Will he be a top duo in Bama history, top 3, 4, et cetera?
There's a potential for it. The only thing reason I think it might not happen is because of the widespread use of these wide receivers.
So are you basing it on stats alone?
Yes.
Okay.
Are you saying impact is?
I'm saying impact and
what's
what
your
they
criteria?
do, because I mean you can pick your criteria, and that's why I was asking you. Are you saying just based on numbers that he's not going to be there?
Based on numbers, I think the combination of
who's your top
Prentice
guys?
and Law and all those guys.
No. Who's your top guys in front of him if he's not going to be in the top 3 or 4, based on stats?
Based statistics, you got to go Blake and Amari. You have to go Mac and Devontae, Tua and Judy, Bryce and J-Mo.
Okay, so I know that Bryce and J-Mo had 1,500 plus, and I think it was 12 touchdowns. I can't remember the exact number, but did the other guys have that many yards? I know Amari may have.
Amari was close. Devontae and Mac are the record holders.
Right.
Tua and Judy, I think, were pretty close to that.
He had the same challenge that Milroe's going to have, right? Had to spread it around, right?
Yeah.
So, of those teams, won. How many got to the national championship and won it? Just Mac and Devontae, right?
Devontae.
Yeah.
Right.
The other 3 didn't. So I guess my question is if these 2 guys have similar stats and they get to a national title, would that change your opinion? If they don't pass them in stats, but they have similar stats and win a national title, would you potentially?
Yeah.
Okay. So what about you, Justin?
I think, yeah, I mean, if they get to the national title, but I think I agree with X on those other duos that would be ahead of them. And I mean, it's hard to do considering, I know we're speculating here since they've not really played a snap together.
Right.
But the potential is there. I mean, it's definitely there. But I also
think
agree.
Jalen's legs hurt it more than anything, because if we look at the guys that we're talking about, Blake was an athlete, but he wasn't going to run the way Jalen was going to run.
How many yards do you think? I'm sorry, finish up, Justin. You finish your thought.
Oh, no, that's a good point too, X. I was just going to say, and I see your point, Martin, where I think Milroe is going to spread the ball around a lot more as well, which is going to hurt that duo.
Let me ask you this, though. How many yards do you think that Jalen's going to throw for? You have to remember now, it's possible that Jalen could have 17 games, at least 16 this year. Right?
I think he throws for, okay, so say Bama makes it, say they make it in the fewest games, right?
Which will be what, 16?
I
15?
think in 16 games, I think Jalen throws for 42 to 4,300, because I think he's going to run for 800.
So one of those guys, he'll have a guy that I think. How many yards you think? Let me ask you differently. How many yards you think Germie is going to had this year? That's where you have to start thinking.
I think Germie gets in the 1,200 to 1,300 range.
Okay. Let me tell you why I think that I think that Jalen Milroe and you have to remember, I'm saying duo, and so I have to take into account that if he gets 15, if he gets 1,200 yards to 1,500 yards, and he throws for over 4, and Bernard has somewhere around 1,200, that's the equivalent of 15 to 1,700 in a Bryce offense, right? I mean, because when you add the stats up, if Jalen Milroe produces over 5,500 yards of offense, somewhere in that range, let that sink in for a second. The dude, whoever his top dude is, with the fact that he also was running the ball, taken away from some of those passing yards, I'm going to tell you why I think on the other side, that I think that not only this duo, but Jalen Milroe is an instant highlight film waiting on a Heisman Trophy. I'll tell you on the other side.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
Tuscaloosa traffic now from the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center. It's a very quiet start to the Friday morning drive all across the T-Town region today. If you're traveling 2059 from Foster's to McFarland, that's an 8-minute drive. Also 8 minutes westbound from Cottondale to the 359 interchange. And along 69 from Middle Area Road to 15th Street, it's 10 minutes with no big problems along the way. With your Tuscaloosa traffic now, I'm Ray Romero.
Here's what's trending on the Tuscaloosa thread.
Good morning, I'm Mary Kay for the Town Square Media Newsroom. And former Alabama tackle and current Kansas City Chief Isaiah Buggs turned himself in Thursday morning and was officially charged with 2 counts of second-degree animal cruelty. The ongoing conflict between Isaiah Buggs and the city of Tuscaloosa intensified with the release of documents revealing his 7 pending cases in municipal court, including one allegation that Buggs physically shoved the TPD's chief of police last month. Be sure to stay connected to the Tuscaloosa thread for this developing story.
Townsend Nissan. How do you stay #1 in West Alabama? You do whatever it takes to make you happy. Townsend Nissan. #1 for a reason on Skyland Boulevard.
The Crohn's and Colitis Foundation has been at the forefront of inflammatory bowel disease research and care for over 50 years. Learn more about research, education, and support at Crohn'sColitisFoundation.org.
Everybody loves Taco Casa. Everything we do in our store, we prepare in our store. You know, we hand cut all of our tomatoes. We block and shred our own cheese here in the store. So we still hand cut our chips, our sopapillas, our taco shells, our chimalupa bowls. Our chili takes about 4 to 6 hours to make every single day. The goal in that is to provide the freshest, best quality to our customers. So we just look at it as, hey, basically, we're your kitchen. You're just coming to eat in your kitchen. Taco Casa, under the biggest cactus in town.
Interact with the Martin Houston Show by calling us at 205-342-9904 or tuning into the Martin Houston Show on Facebook.
Welcome back into the Martin Houston Show. It's the 4th quarter. It's the 2-minute warning, the Harvest Church 2-minute warning. I want to invite you to join us at Harvest Church on Sunday at 10 a.m. for Word and Worship. And then our Sunday School Bible study time starts at 9 a.m. My class in the main sanctuary is an overflow class. Walk in whatever time you get there. You're welcome. If you're coming early and visiting, or if you're coming a little late, but early for the worship time, walk on in where we'll be teaching, and we're going through the book of Exodus right now. Great insight and time there. But come join us at Harvest Church on Sunday, where we love God and love people and give us an opportunity to love on you. If you can't make it in person, watch Harvest Church on YouTube and on Facebook on the Harvest Church on our Facebook page. Follow us and you'll get the notifications. All right, Justin, I'm going to throw out 2 names. Burrows and Daniels. Did that give you a hint of why I think this guy may end up being one of the best duos?
I can get an idea. I think the
Burrows and Daniels. Yeah.
I
What
think
did
there's
they?
two things that stand out there.
Go ahead.
I'm gonna say is transfers, and
Go ahead.
I want to say seniors, right?
Not only were they seniors, Justin, they were grad students as quarterbacks. Look at their first year with their programs as starting quarterbacks. They were average. There wasn't anything spectacular about either one of them, was it? I mean,
No.
Burrows had an average year. Daniels had an average year. Nothing. They were both 4th or 5th round draft picks. If they had left as true seniors, or as 4th year guys, right? Let that sink in. But as 5th year seniors, they both won the Heisman. Right? Didn't they both win? Yeah. Right? Let that sink in for a second. What was the difference, Justin, is they were able to be like an NFL quarterback on a college team. They didn't have to go to class and sit in class. They were watching film. They were learning defenses and all of that. So number one is Jalen Milroe is a grad student. So he's going to have more time to watch film and learn. Okay, that's number one. Number two is he now knows what it takes to be a starter. Okay, so that's number two. But the most obvious reason I think this may be why this duo wins it is because of the offense and the offensive staff that we have. Do you think this offense has the potential to be the most potent offense Alabama's ever seen?
It's hard to say. I think with especially the kind of offenses we've seen the past couple years alone, I think it's really going to stand on the offensive coordinator and how he utilizes Jalen Milroe. Because I think you're right in the fact that this jump that we're going to see in Milroe in the quarterback, whether that's reading defense, throwing the ball, just decision making overall is going to be a huge jump from this last season.
Yep.
But also, Jalen Milroe is an X factor. He can run the ball just as well as he can throw it, and I think we heard several coaches last year say this about him. I think Kirby Smart being one of them, that you don't know what to do when you're trying to game plan for this guy. I think there's a real possibility, but it's really going to rely on Germie Bernard, which I'm assuming is going to be our wide receiver one, but also the younger guys that are going to fill in the slot role, the 2 and 3 wide receiver, since they are such a young room right now. Who are those, not backups, but role players? Who's going to step up and contribute as well?
Yeah, and you have to understand, Germie Bernard was a guy that got, 400 or 500 yards last year, and he was playing with 3 NFL receivers. I mean, just let that sink in. I think when you take the offensive that we're going to be running, this offense is a juggernaut offense. I think the coordinators have shown this is DeBoer's offense, and I get it that Grubb did what he did, but this guy Sheridan has been in this offense as long as Grubb was. He was with him at Indiana. He turned Penix around. Penix went to Washington because of Sheridan. Okay, and now you have Sheridan and staff here, but DeBoer's still there. And so I think, Justin, I think when you add running backs will be utilized in this offense, right? You're going to have a Germie Bernard. I think the other receivers, I think Kendrick Law. I think you're going to have these other guys. I think you're going to have the threat of the wide receivers running the ball. I think you're going to have the threat of the quarterback running the ball. And do I think that he'll get 1,700 yards receiving? I don't know. But I think when you look at what he does and how they do it, that this duo could very well be top 4. One of the top 4, maybe not statistic-wise, but impact-wise. And it's just like last year. Did Isaiah Bond have a great statistical season compared to some of the other guys? No. But they had huge impact, right? Did Mechie have the same type of season as some of the other guys? No. But some people put Mechie as one of the top guys just because of the number he had, but he didn't have the stats. So it's going to be fun to watch. I just can't wait to see Milroe cut it loose. And C.J. Watson made a great point. Jalen Hurts is another guy. He didn't win the Heisman, but think about where Jalen went as a grad student, Justin. Just think about that for a second. He went from what? A guy who was benched to a guy who was a runner-up in the Heisman. All because of what? Grad student and system. So where will Milroe and Bernard end up? I say Milroe ended up one of the huge impact players if he has a season I think he can have. And I think because of that, he takes Bernard with him. Because when you look at Burrows, what happened when Burrows went off, Justin, with his receivers? They had a duo, right? What happened when Daniels went off? He had a duo. And I think the same thing will happen here. I think if the quarterback water level raises, I think everybody else's water level raises as well. Well, there's so much to get to. And Justin, what do you think about this topic? You can take any quarterback and any wide receiver and you can mix and match it. Who do you think the top duo will be? You think that'd be a good topic of conversation?
Yeah, we could talk about. I have some ideas because there's some to choose from.
Yeah, think about that for a second. We may throw that into the conversation. We'll throw position grades into the conversation next week. We'll talk about what happened out in spring meetings at Destin. We'll talk about the big weekend in review on Monday. We keep the conversation rolling. It's just an ongoing conversation. We're just talking around the kitchen table, and we invite you to get in on it right here on the Martin Houston Show. Remember, follow us at Alabama Sports and the Martin Houston Show, all free live content, but also you can subscribe to the group, the private group, Martin's Maniacs. You can find it by typing in Martin's Maniacs and subscribe, and we'll do some special events, special content there. Remember this, trust in the Lord always, lean not your own understanding, in all your ways acknowledge him, and he will direct your paths. Roll Tide out to everybody. We'll catch you on Monday.
Thank you for listening to the Martin Houston Show on your home for Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9.